My name is Amon Focus. I'm from South Jamaica, Queens, and I shoot people. I was inspired to shoot people or to get into photography mostly through people watching. I always thought that people had a story and I wanted to find out what it was. And so photography allowed me to do that. The first time I picked up a camera, I had someone gave me a camera. They gave me this little point and shoot a few years ago, and I thought it was like the greatest thing I'd ever played with. And I was like a big kid. I was still in school or what have you, and that's what killed time. And so, you know, I played with it a lot, but I really didn't take it too seriously until later when a friend of mine, he had a big professional camera, and he had taken all these pictures, and then I could really see what you could do with one of those professional cameras, and at that point I was hooked. I didn't start calling myself a photographer until actually I saw the reaction of people's faces when I would do a shoot. So like, at first it was just a hobby and I really enjoyed it, but then when people started to hire me, I didn't know what else to call it, so that kind of just fell into the title of photographer. But now I embrace it and I love it. And when I had a traditional 9 to 5, I would, kind of do it on the side. But when I resigned from my last position, I decided that I'm just gonna go head on and just take advantage of it all the time, because I figured I was giving a company the best 8 hours of my day. If I could just, take those best hours and do it for my company, I would like to see what would happen. And so the obstacles were that I didn't have, when I resigned, I just had enough to move back to New York from Florida. And so the blessing is that I had friends and family that were supportive, that were like, okay, we know what you want to do. We know that, we see what you're trying to do, we want to help you. So people would just support me and allow me to just work my craft, even if they just let me stay on their couch or, work on a project. I know for me personally, I never wanted to live life in regret. I didn't want to be that guy that thought about things that I could have done. Because in all actuality, you can. And so, if there's anything that you choose to pursue or anything that you're trying to accomplish, go for it. And even if you fail, there's a lesson in that failure, and it's not absolute. Failure isn't absolute at all. I fail all the time. But from those failures, I can go, okay, this is what I did wrong, and then fix it the next go around. And I don't have to do that failure again. I don't have to fail again at that. I can fail at something else. And after a while, you don't fail anymore. You just do it. And then, so I would say don't give up. Like, never give up. And don't listen to people who ingest. Sometimes people jokingly try to talk you out of your dream, or they try to, put your fire out. But if it's something that you know deep in your heart and you're passionate about it, nothing's gonna stop you. And then there'll be those providences that will show up to kind of like steer you along to the next step. So like today, I never shot a model before. And it's because it's something that I did in the past that kind of branched out. Like, a lot of times it's not about money. A lot of times it's really just about, you can invest in money, but you can also invest in time. So if you invest your time in specific things towards your goal, it'll branch out to other opportunities. And that has taken me a long way. But just doing something without a motive, just to do it toward my dream, will open up another door to further me even beyond where I was in the first place. The time in my life where I thought I wanted to be a chef, and my father was like, "Why do you want to be a chef? I've never seen you in the kitchen." And I was like, "Dream killer." And I was pissed off like Pop, but what he said made sense. But I was just so young and naive. I'm just like, nah, man, this is what I want to do. Until I got to school and started talking about cutting up carrots and lutees and sachet bags, and I was just like, I hated it. And so you can look at that as a fail, or you can look at it as a win, because I didn't spend the rest of my life thinking that I wanted to be a chef and not ever trying to be a chef, just knowing that I wanted to be it, realizing like, you know what, I don't want to be a chef. So that made room for me to go, okay, now what do I want to do? And it was something that I would do for free. And photography would inspire me to do photography and videos that I didn't want to clean bathrooms. I knew what I didn't want to do. Like, I didn't want to cook. I didn't want to clean bathrooms. I didn't want to lift anything heavy. I didn't want to, deal with clothes or anything. I just wanted to deal with creative things. And so once you figure out what you don't want to do, even if you make small steps toward what you want to do, eventually become big steps. And then before you know it, that's what you do. Because I used to be a cook, and I used to work in a poultry factory. But now all I do is video and photography. So it took 10 years, but 10 years ago, I thought about being this. And so time flies. The next thing, if you just want it, and then you make tiny steps toward it, even if it takes you 10 years and you make it, that's what it's all about. It's a journey, not so much a destination. Because now that I'm here, I'm like, now I want to be over there. So it never ends, but you just have to take that journey toward something, that you believe in. And it'll never be work if you love it, ever.